Good morning. I've run out of seafoam trees, so I'm going to have to make some more. How? Well, I've been using a lot of these ready-made things. They're very useful, especially with the size. But at the back of the board, especially where I want to hide things, then I want the taller seafoam trees. No, I didn't even know what seafoam trees were a couple of years ago. Apparently it's a plant, you grow it, and then in the autumn you harvest it, cut it up, dry it out, put it in a box and sell it for £25. So here's my box, and it weighs nothing. It doesn't feel like you've bought anything at all, because you never know quite what you're going to get. So there's a tree with some loose bits hanging off it. So unfortunately you get a lot of these thin spindly things with very weak trunks, shall we say, and you get a variety of taller ones. I haven't emptied the box, so I don't know what I've got in here as yet. So I need to do several things. First thing is spray them brown. So once I've sorted them out and trimmed them and got them to the shape I want, I'm going to spray them brown. Listen to my chair. And then you need lengths of polystyrene, and you can stick them all in here while the paint is drying. So I got my homemade spray booth, a cardboard box, and I've got a small plastic bag so that I don't spray my hands like last time. Then once all that's dried, I've now got to make it turn green. So I've got this fine turf, so it's basically a green dust. How do I make the green dust stick to the tree? Well, hairspray. So you spray it in the booth until it is saturated. So you're spraying up really close. You're doing the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do with this. So you spray it up very closely until it is dripping, and then you sprinkle that green stuff on. You put it back in the polystyrene stand, and you recover what falls off, basically. Now there are proper glues available for doing this, for spraying on a proper glue. This is considerably cheaper and does exactly the same job. Firm hold, cheap as chips hairspray, non-branded hairspray. I'll get the phone out and I'll show you some of the trees around the layout as it is. I'm not going to show you me spraying a tree brown, and then there's loads of videos on YouTube if you want to see different people doing it. They may use different materials, but hairspray seems to be a very popular one over spending £15 on a tube of glue when you can spend £1.50 on a can of hairspray. So let's have a look at what I've got so far, and it is a mixture of these seafoam trees and the pre-formed, pre-made trees out of plastic, and they do go together. As I say, I'm trying to put the taller things at the back and the shorter things at the front. And these smaller trees are sort of like housing and garden size. And of course we can use them to hide a mistake, and we can use them to hide part of the back scene or any other issue that just doesn't quite look right. Now this previous couple of boxes of trees that I got was a reasonable selection of Seafoam, some thin ones and some fatter ones. And they worked out very well indeed. But my latest box of Seafoam, they're not very good. And this is what happens sometimes. You don't know what you're going to get in the box. Got a few shorter ones here yet to go in place. But that's a great Seafoam tree. As I say, some of the stuff I got in this latest box was very poor. And that's the luck of the draw. So I've painted them brown. As you can see, they're all sort of like tall and spindly. There's no bulk to them, but they've been sprayed brown. And then the next job is to, there's some left over. You can see they're all long and thin. They're not very useful for me. So the next job is to spray them with the hairspray and sprinkle the greenery on. And then they look like this. They bulked out a bit, but not as much as I would like. I can only hope that my next box is a lot better. Ta-ra!